Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So the training camp practice for the Jets just wrapped up. Bit of a weird one today, right? Because we had Aaron Glenn come out at 12:30ish, 12:45, somewhere in that range, give his press conference first. Then we had the practice. Supposedly, according to reporters, this was the longest practice up to date, but at the same time, we have like the least amount of updates. So regardless, we do have a couple of standout performers from today's practice. But before we dive into that, I actually wanted to bring up Aaron Glenn's presser here. Now, of course, they're always a good listen. You know, you're listening to Aaron Glenn talk pretty much every single day, and like you're liking what you're hearing. He seems like he really is backing the players and that the players are fully bought in. All that stuff's well and good, but I gotta be honest, in today's press conference, it was really, to me, my favorite one that he's had so far, you know, excluding the intro presser. I thought he really dished out a lot of really impressive answers. Of course, I'll leave it linked down below in the description box, but this guy just has an answer for everything. An answer for freaking everything, man. Like, and I hate to keep bringing up the past regime, but, you know, we dealt with these guys for, 3.5 years with Saleh, 4 years with Jeff Ulbrich, 6 years with Joe Douglas. There were times where, you know, they would get a question, JD, Saleh, whoever, Hackett, and it just kind of felt like there was an uncertainty, or they didn't want the media to know, and it was just super obvious, or they just flat out didn't have the answer. We'll look at the tape. You know, it's just a lot of responses like that. And granted, we're not in the middle of the regular season. There's really no adversity that the Jets are facing right now. But, you know, whatever question comes in, Glenn has an answer for every single time. It's clear, it's to the point, it's direct, and it's just, it is what it is, take it or leave it. It's just nice knowing that the head coach of the football team has an answer for literally everything that comes his way. There's a point, there is a reason for every single thing that they're doing. In regards to game management, a question came in about it, basically how Glenn was going to be able to handle the responsibilities going from DC to head coach. We've seen coaches excel in it, we've seen coaches struggle with it, and in some cases that will literally make or break you. Right, wasting timeouts early, not using timeouts for whatever reason, right? Todd Bowles massively struggled with clock management when he was with the Jets, a little bit too with Tampa, but man, I just remember it was just so poorly managed. Another area is being able to challenge plays effectively, right? When to throw the flag, when to hang on to it, right? These critical situations. Again, we've seen coaches do well with it. We've seen it really be a hindrance to some coaches and some staffs. It goes further than just those two aspects. You know, talk about being able to get plays into the huddle from an offensive standpoint, getting the right personnel out there to fit what you want to do, right? If you have a late switch or something on the offensive side of the football, trying to make that transition on defense, very, very important. You can't get caught lacking or sleeping, and then you have guys screaming off the field while guys are trying to, you know, run onto the field to line up. Typically, you see a lot of that with coaches that are calling plays. They have their head in the playbook. They're trying to get a feel on the game, trying to, you know, keep their finger on the pulse of what's happening, that they might have like a mental lapse or something will slip. And you all of a sudden you see this mistake, or you see him not really know, okay, should I call a timeout? Should I not? Because his head is, you know, it's not all in that CEO style of role. But anyway, AG's response to the whole game management thing was he actually referenced Dan Campbell, his time with the Detroit Lions, and how they did an excellent job in prepping for game days, basically meeting on Saturdays, going through the motions, him and Ben Johnson with Dan Campbell running through different situations. He talked about, of course, having a game management coach here with the Jets. So again, it just feels nice. It feels direct. It feels clear, and understanding that, you know, all the bases that need to be covered are being covered. There's really no stone left unturned with Aaron Glenn. Not one single time in any of these pressers have I heard Aaron Glenn maybe stumble over his words, trying to like dance around an answer to like please the media, or him kind of come across as like he doesn't know, so he's just like, again, just tiptoeing around it. Not once. Maybe that changes in the future, I don't know, but Aaron Glenn seems like a pretty genuine dude, and he also seems like he's on top of every single facet of the organization. We know he has a playing background. We know he obviously has a coaching background. We know he has a scouting background. Seems like he's pretty involved, right? Reporters are talking about him being up close towards the offense. Reporters are talking about he's involved with, standing near the huddle. He's running drills, and he's just all over the place, and that's kind of what you want out of your head coach, this hands-on guy that really seems like he wants the job. job, loves the job, and is grateful for the opportunity. Not just going to let it slip through his fingers with this laissez-faire, lackadaisical type of attitude, right? Seems like Glenn is just fully hands-on, just overseeing everything here, and I love that. Kind of has the feel of almost like a college coach, like Nick Saban, Alabama. To throw any coaches out there throughout the past, good or bad, that have had just this dominant presence within their program. They're recruiting, they're managing the roster, they're developing players, they're game planning throughout the week, they're calling play, they're just doing everything. It feels like Aaron Glenn is kind of in that similar style of role. But anyway, moving on to the practice, a couple of standouts here. Stone Smart. Supposedly Stone Smart is impressing as a pass catcher. That is really, really cool because Stone Smart was kind of brought in on this cheap 1-year prove-it style of deal, and we don't really have a lot of tight end depth. So to hear someone stepping up in this room outside of a Mason Taylor, really positive stuff. I believe it was, according to Rich Cimini, both Sauce Gardner and Brandon Stevens had great days. Also, according to Rich Cimini, he said that it was one of the longer practices. The passing offense struggled again. Fields was 4 for 16 with 1 drop, Garrett Wilson. The offense looked out of sync. The pass coverage was good. And again, Gardner and Stevens played pretty well. And Aaron Glenn talked a little bit about it too in the press conference before practice. Essentially just back and Fields. That's what you want out of your head coach. But, until the regular season hits, I'm not really going to panic too much about the offense being out of sorts. I literally think that you can go down the list, 32 teams, go through every single one of their training camps. The offense is a little behind. It's August 4th, August 28th, August 29th, September 3rd. Okay, if the offense is looking like this, yeah, I think there's going to be an issue, but we're still over half a week away from the first preseason game. The whole point of training camp is to get on the same page, to click, to build chemistry. It's very tough to step in. Like, my question is, what is the expectation for Fields in training camp? For him to go 18 of 18, 16 of 19, 2 passing touchdowns in a brand new offense with a brand new team, with brand new teammates and a new coaching staff. With also a pretty thin wide receiver room as well, just throwing that out there. I still feel like the Jets, even though Josh Reynolds has been impressing and Garrett's going to do his thing, I still feel like we can use one more guy, preferably like a veteran wide receiver who can get open by himself, who doesn't necessarily need to be schemed open, just some reliable target. But who knows if the Jets are going to bring someone like that in. The point is, I'm not going to freak out, hit the panic button over like practice stats at this point. I don't think the expectation should be Justin Fields needs to look like Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow in the first week of August. So that's going to do it for me. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, go Jets.